Hey everybody!
Hi there!
It's Dr. Jamie
And Stephanie.
and we're here with New Journey Chiropractic. Today we're going to be doing the Raising Healthy Families Naturally, but this is going to be the Kick the Sick version. So if you've joined us on any previous webinar, thank you. But we just love to be able to teach people about health and wellness. This is going to be more focused around keeping your immune system healthy, helping you do simple things in your body's natural ability to heal, but also give your family, I guess, a set of guidelines or a roadmap on how to get there as well. So if you don't know me, I'm Dr. Jamie. I am the owner and chiropractor here at New Journey Chiropractic. My life was transformed through chiropractic a little over 13 years ago through our son, Bradley. Some of the key things that I'll be teaching today are going to be things that we learned back when he was a little guy. So our story is going to be similar to the story that we go over in the end. But long story short, Bradley had dealt with numerous ear infections. He had tubes put in his ears. He was experiencing developmental delays. Doctors basically had no answers for us except for medications and to potentially just wait to see what else happened. My family got involved in a chiropractic office. Our life was transformed through Bradley, through the developmental delays that he was experiencing. He was able to start to communicate more effectively and basically just became a child that we were told he would never be. So, um, my family is passionate about chiropractic. We absolutely love getting to teach people about the power of the human body, what it can do, how it can support itself, and how it can heal through everyday issues. This is Stephanie. She is our chiropractic physician's assistant here at New Journey. Do you want to give a little testimony about you?
Yeah, so I came into chiropractic a little later in my life through a sciatic injury, training for a half marathon, and literally hobbled into a chiropractor's office. And it absolutely changed not only my health, but my life and ultimately my career because I ended up changing careers. And I'm also a life coach. So chiropractic fit perfectly with that. So my role here at the office is to help patients understand what chiropractic is and what it's not, but also helping patients make those little changes in their lifestyle to create the healthy habits so you not only get healthy, but you stay healthy.
Yeah. So we're going to give you the big picture overview and then hone in on little things that you can do for your family's health. So the big picture. So there are a core 4 things that you can do to living a healthy lifestyle. And we want to focus on that. The biggest thing that we want you to take away are those key points. We don't want this to be difficult. We don't want this to be confusing. We really want you to leave here feeling empowered. If you have questions, we'll give you our phone number. You can reach us. We are more than happy to answer or address any concerns that you have. But when we look at the big picture and the overview, we look at the nervous system. So, number 1, the nervous system is going to be the boss. It makes sure that the body is functioning to its fullest potential and it has power at all times. The second thing that we're going to look at is movement. So, movement is life. It's for babies, it's for kids, and it's for all of us. We know that if we become sedentary, we start to develop more diseases and more illnesses. So, movement is key. Sleep is very important because this is the time when your body is resting, it's relaxing, it's healing, it's digesting, it's doing all of the things that it needs to do that it can't do on the times that you're awake. And so, sleep, you can't get too much because who needs to repair and function? Everybody. And so, the last pillar would be to live clean. We're not going to go into this too much. We have future workshops that will be diving into this, but we want to teach you to live clean. That includes your kids. We want to teach you that chemicals don't mix. And so, future webinars will talk about things that you can do to prevent the toxins in your body or in your home and lifestyle.
Yeah,
Anything
those
you want
are
to add?
fun ones. just understanding that this is all about progress, not perfection. Like one step at a time. We're going to give you a lot of information today, but do what you can.
Mhm.
Start where you are and use what you have.
Yeah, we've been doing this for 13, 14 years. My family, Stephanie's been doing it for
Yeah, since 2010, so 14 years.
14 years. So around the same timeline. And guys, we learn new things each day, each year, and we modify and adapt as we go. So we don't want you to think that you have to completely trash everything, but if you do, you do. But do it in small steps so that way you can make bigger impacts over time. So when we start talking about how the nervous system develops, if we want to think about the babies and what their main job is in this world, it's to eat, sleep, and poop. If they're not, they're unhappy, you're unhappy, and life gets crazy from there. But the key points that we want you to take away from this slide is your nervous system controls, well, your brain controls everything. Your nervous system is the way that your brain communicates with the body. And so, as a chiropractor, my job is to make sure that the nervous system is functioning to its fullest potential. That way, your body is healing, it's functioning, it's digesting, it's relaxing, and doing what it needs to do. So, when we take a look at the spine and the nervous system, if we go all the way up to the top of the spine, we look at C1 or Atlas. This is going to be the boss of the central nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. C2, which is also called axis, it is the connector, the coordinator, and the communicator of the CNS and the ANS. Out in that same general region, we have the vagus nerve, and this is the all things nerve or the wandering nerve. And the reason that we call this nerve the wandering nerve is it basically touches and coordinates with every system in the body. T6 is going to be your digestive or the stomach region. So, how your body's breaking down food, putting it into the digestive system. T12 is going to be the gut or the sorting or the warehousing. What was your.
So think about it this way. Everything that goes in is now going in through the digestive tract. When it gets to the gut, the body's going to absorb what it needs. It's going to sort it and it's going to store it, or it's going to warehouse it out. So it's going to eliminate anything it doesn't need.
Yeah. And so then we get to the fun part. This is S2 or the sacrum. This is where parents love me if their child is constipated, but this is called the magic poop button. So if you adjust somebody in that region, that does not mean that they're running to the bathroom. It just means that we're now starting to work on that parasympathetic nervous system. We're getting their body to rest. So if you're constipated, this is where we typically see things move and eliminate. So, fun fact. Step 4. So, movement matters the most. The way that our brains are built, it's from the bottom up, the back forward, and that happens over time. And so, movement matters most because if your body isn't moving, as we mentioned earlier, if there's a sedentary lifestyle, then your body's not able to perform the way that it should. And so, step 1 through 3 is going to be the baby is eating, it's sleeping, it's pooping. And that's the way the body and the baby has to develop. So if they're not doing those things, they're not doing their jobs. And so most people think that the first 1 to 3 months, the baby's not doing anything, but it's just kind of chilling, it's relaxing, it's resting, it's taking in the environment. It's sleeping and it's doing whatever it needs to do. Most people think, though, that once they get to that 4 month part or that 4 month mark, they go through a sleep regression. But, guys, what's actually happening is their body's starting to, if you will, wake up. It's starting to move. That child is seeing the world around them. It's starting to use their motor skills. So, this is where we start to see babies picking up their head. They're noticing their environment around them. They may be following you. This is where they start to roll over, start hitting those milestones. And so, after they move through the progression of eating, sleeping, pooping, movement, then we must go into the immune system, which is going to be step 3. So it's the immune system, the ears, nose, and throat, and respiration. But guys, what we want to tell you is that if the baby hasn't mastered number 1 or number 2, then the body can't what we call drain properly. And so what it means is that their body doesn't activate the immune system the way that it should. And if it doesn't activate it, this means that it can affect how the immune system develops and how the gut continues to develop. So think about it when a baby starts moving. It's fun, right? They get into everything. They're going through your cabinets, they're touching things.
And everything goes into the mouth. Everything. They want to pick it up. They want to look at it. And what do they know? They know their hand. They can feel it. Everything goes to their mouth.
So what they're doing though is they're exploring through their hands, through their mouth, but they're also exposing themselves to the world around them. And in return, it's activating their immune system. Guys, we want this to happen in a clean, natural way, but it also through the movement of them exploring, this is allowing their bodies to, if you will, drain and allows their immune system and their gut to activate to start functioning and build that immune system. And we'll go into that, what this looks like moving forward. But that brings us to the next step. So, movement. One of the, I guess, craziest things that happened is post COVID, the CDC changed their guidelines on developmental milestones. It was almost like, oh, we don't need them anymore. But pushing back developmental milestones doesn't change how we were created and how we were created to grow and develop. It actually kind of hinders, I guess, our guidelines, because now we don't have a chart or something to refer back to. Because if we're missing a step, then we don't know to look for that step. So think about this. If a baby develops really fast, so we have all met those people where their child sits up really fast or really early. That child may begin walking at 6 or 7 months. The next thing you know is they develop an ear infection. They're constantly or chronically snotty. They have a chronic cough, and then maybe they become constipated. Guys, this happens because they skipped a step. Neurologically, the body needs to go through all of those little developmental milestones in order to function properly. So, by fixing the chart, by removing crawling, guys, that wasn't the answer. We need that sequence to develop. And so, we can see what the CDC has changed. Crawling is no longer considered a milestone. Walking was changed from 12 months to 18 months. So, we've extended the ability to be able to develop. Talking was pushed back 3 to 6 months. So all we're doing is really just limiting our child in how they function.
I really think it's important too, because we see so many parents that come in and they're like, my child isn't developing the way that they should. And you're like, well, based on what? So again, if we're missing a step, how do we know if it's been skipped, if it's not even there?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these steps have been around for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And that's okay, because babies still develop the exact same way.
Yeah, we didn't just get to 2025 and babies magically do whatever. But I don't know. I guess if you fix the problem by removing something, the problem no longer existed. I don't really understand the thought process on that, but we'll move on off of that.
So yeah, this could be a whole webinar all by itself.
So step 5 would be be prepared to kick the sick without medications. And so, guys, please don't take away from this that Dr. Jamie and Stephanie told you never to take a medication. That's not where we're going with this. But we want to teach you how a medication can impact your immune system. We want to teach you what you can do besides those things. And obviously, a medication is going to be there. There's a time and a place for things, but we want to teach you ways to kind of go away from that. There's a great resource it's a newer book. It's called Eat Dirt. It's from Dr. Josh Axe. We have that here in our learning library if you would like to borrow it. Otherwise, Amazon has it, but it just goes over some good principles that I think we've lost over time. But what we want to teach you is to look at immunity from a different lens. And so we're going to try to expel some myths that have developed in our society. And we want to start looking at the immune system from a natural or holistic approach. One of the biggest things that we're often taught in our society is that fevers are bad. We want to kind of change that myth.
Yeah.
So a fever is your body's natural defense on warding and fighting off microorganisms. So the purpose of the fever is to increase your body's temperature, and it goes just high enough to kill off all of those microorganisms and invaders. It'll never increase too high and it'll never increase too low. Your body knows exactly what it needs to do at any given moment and any given time. People think that coughing is bad. Coughing's annoying. Trust me, if you're trying to sleep and you're hacking all night, yes, it's annoying. But the reason your body has that mechanism is it's to help remove the mucus that can be lining or coating our airways. So it's our body's defense mechanism of getting and removing those unwanted microorganisms. And so think about what we've done in our society overall when we start talking about the impacts of our immune system. I don't want to go back to COVID on this, but if we look at COVID, we started really just over sanitizing, kind of backing off and staying away from people. But what we've done is we've created an environment that is too sterile, if you will. And so our immune system doesn't have the capability of fighting off normal bacteria because it's never been exposed to it. And so the way that your immune system works is if you were exposed to a microorganism when you were 2 or 3 years old, your body creates a defense or this muscle memory. It goes, oh, I've seen that before. I know what to do with it. Then let's say that you're exposed to it again 8 to 10 years later. Body goes, know what that is. Get out of here. I'm done with you. So over time, what we're doing is we're building that natural immunity. So what we've done in our society now by using household chemicals and infectants, antibacterial soaps, we're constantly removing organisms that are in our environment that would typically build that immune system. So we're basically wiping it out, and our body has no memory of what needs to be there and how to fight it. So an example, and I hate to go back to this, but think about when we were in the lockdowns in 2020. We were supposed to limit exposure, but what we did was we limited our body's natural immune response. So what the 2-week lockdown turned into months, we started weakening our body's natural immune defense because we weren't exposed to those normal bacteria. And so what we want to do is we want to build our immune system, not avoid everything, because if you put yourself in a sterile environment, the body doesn't know what to do with those bacteria.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to add to it? Or
so it kind of reminds me of when we were kids, and one kid would get chicken pox, and the moms in the neighborhood would all get their kids together, and we had chicken pox parties.
We did.
Like literally, I remember my mother putting me and my brothers in the bathtub because I got them first because I was the oldest and I was in first grade. My little brother was in kindergarten and my baby brother wasn't in school yet. She knew that if she was going to be home with one sick kid, it would be so much easier. Plus, we all developed immunity. So when we talk about immunity, our bodies need to fight it off so that we create antibodies. Then the muscle memory is there. So the next time something comes along, like you said, oh, I know exactly how to handle this.
Right. It doesn't go into like, panic mode. What do we do? It's like, oh, we've done this before. Got this. So it's a little bit of a different shift when we talk about how we view and manage our health, but you've got questions, we've got answers. We're here to support you on that. So one of the biggest things in the immune system, we're going to talk about this. Hopefully I can teach it to you in a way that's not super boring, because I can tell you when I started learning all of this in school and then refreshing my memory for this workshop, it's a lot. So when we look at the real root cause being interference, we're going to break it down into two patterns. And so there is the Th1 of your immune system, which is the parasympathetic, but it's the expressive immune function. Th2 is going to be the sympathetic or the suppressive immune function. I can talk. So this is how your immune system works. We're going to build this nice castle, right? And around the castle, we're going to build these castle walls, and it's going to protect us, and life is great, right? We don't need anything else. And then we get this great shiny present. Maybe it's a Trojan horse, and we invite it into the castle walls, right?
Yeah.
Life is great. We're all sleeping. And then what happens in the middle of the night?
Uh-oh, we have invaders.
We have invaders. So I'll go into this to explain this to you. So when that invader comes in, the body's surprised. It doesn't know what to do. It overreacts. And it's in this fighting mechanism. It wasn't prepared for it. And it's difficult, right? So let's think about your week. You're in a sympathetic overdrive. You are going and going and going some more. And then you hit that weekend. Poof, right? It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it is time to relax. Okay. You wake up Saturday morning and you have a cough or a fever. Isn't it notorious that it always happens on the weekend?
How interesting. And now we know why.
So,
or you're about to learn.
Yeah. So what's happened is you've ignored those little signs, that Trojan horse coming in. You ignored it, right? And so maybe you developed a little sniffle, and so you took a decongestant, or you started to cough and you took a cough suppressant. You may have felt warm, but you took a fever reducer, and then by the time you get to the weekend, bam, you're sick, right? So that's that Trojan horse hitting you. So what this did is those medications, when you took them, it suppressed the immune system by fighting off, or it suppressed the immune system fighting off those organisms, right? So you took the cough suppressant, cough didn't happen, mucus stayed in your lungs. You took the fever reducer, so it lowered your temperature. Body wasn't able to bring the temperature up enough to fight off those microorganisms. What else did you take? Oh, the
Probably.
decongestant,
Yep.
because your nose was running, and so what that runny nose does is it again flushes out the microorganisms. And so what you did is you suppressed the body's natural ability to function. And so what I just described is that Th2 sympathetic immune function. And so what we call that is suppressive immunity. And guys, this isn't how we want to fight off invaders, right? We don't want to be thinking life is grand in our castle walls with the Trojan horse in the courtyard, right?
And all of a sudden, all the invaders are creeping out while you're sleeping and invading you,
right,
while your walls are down.
Right. What we want to do is we want to live in the sympathetic or parasympathetic or the expressive immune response. And so this analogy would be you've got the building of the castle, you've got the walls, but you also have your cannons raised, the gates are locked, the knights are on the castle walls, they're looking in the horizon, they're looking for the foreign invaders because they're on guard, right? And so you want the immune system to be on alert. And that way, when your immune system sees that foreign invader or that microorganism, it can be on alert and ready to fight before they invade your territory or those castle walls. So during this time, fever, they develop a cough, but this is what we want it to do because it's removing those foreign invaders. And so we don't want it to suppress the symptoms. What we typically want the body to do is we want them to remove the invaders quickly, and then your body can recover faster because we didn't suppress the immune system. And we know that we can't stop all illnesses or infections in a child or a family member because it's a natural response to us living in the environment around us. But what we can see happen is that if our body identifies these issues sooner, then it can heal and recover faster. And so we want the bodies to live in a parasympathetic state, so that resting, digesting, not that sympathetic power overdrive, because what that does is it creates imbalance in the body. So When we're stuck in a sympathetic overdrive, we create more inflammation. We know if there's an
Mhm.
inflammatory process in the body, it leads to illness. It can also lead, if we start looking at adults, more inflammation creates pain. That's typically what brings people to the
Mhm.
chiropractor to begin with. But inflammation leads to illness. And so when our body can't express properly, the body isn't able to heal and function properly, which creates an imbalance. And so how chiropractic benefits you is it creates overall balance within the body, balance within the nervous system, so the body is functioning and communicating to its fullest potential.
Yeah. And for patients that we see on the regular, they know if they start noticing, "Ooh, I'm starting to feel a little achy," or "I'm starting to feel a little tickle in my throat," they'll schedule boost adjustments because this allows the body's immune response to come online.
Mm-hmm.
So what it's doing is it's removing that interference and helping the body get to that healing state that much quicker. Obviously, medication has its place, but the body knows what to do. We just have to give it the opportunity to try.
Right. And if you're not feeling well, like increase your fluids, decrease the sugar because we know that sugar increases inflammation in the body. So you want to remove all interference as much as possible, boosting your immune system, naturally getting adjusted. We'll go over some things that you can do at home to help support it as well. So again, it's just thinking from a different brain. It took me a long time to get here because I was a nurse for 10 years before going to chiropractic school. So I've completely changed the way that I
Yeah.
identify things as well. And I promise it gets easier. So, one of the missing links that we are seeing is the missing link is the nervous system. Most people treat chiropractic as if it were just for back pain or neck pain or headaches, but what the nervous system does when we talk about the immune system is it's the harmonizer. So it's going to help make sure that the body is in balance. And so what we tend to see is that the body gets stuck. And when it gets stuck, we create in the nervous system or in the nervous system function imbalance. So imbalance creates dysfunction. When we start looking at how the immune system is working and functioning, it can lead to poor drainage and plumbing. I told you I'd come back to this. And that poor drainage and plumbing occurs in the body. And so when you have poor plumbing and drainage, this wreaks havoc and creates issues within the nervous system and in the gut. So we're going to kind of think of it like this. So your nose gets stuffy, right? This leads to nasal congestion. That congestion has nowhere to go, so it backs up into the ears. The ears become full. Where does it go? It starts draining down the throat. Throat starts getting sore. You start getting that tickle. It'll drain into the upper bronchial airways. Then you start to get a dry cough. Let's say that dry cough doesn't produce any mucus, it just kind of sits there. It leads to bronchitis. If it continues to progress, it's going to get down into our lungs. It's going to create a chronic cough, or it can develop, you can develop pneumonia from it. And so when our nervous system is functioning properly, the body's able to drain better. It's going to be able to heal better, and it's going to be able to remove that interference the way that it should. So if it starts in the nose, it'll start draining through the lymph and start getting it out of the body instead of just kind of clogging up every system or pipe.
Hence why we talk about rest and fluids when you start noticing yourself not feeling better. I feel like in society these days, we're not big on rest. We're
No.
big on go, 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 go. Well, guess what that's gotten us?
No,
Sicker.
no, 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 no. Yeah, it has gotten us sicker.
Yeah.
And again, it's also changed how we manage our health. We jump to different things, but again, another story for another day. So, this is a great PDF. We have this if you would like a copy of it, but we're going to teach you some things that you can do for nature's best, or I guess nature's medicine cabinet. So, the best way that you can fight and improve your immune system. What we love about this handout is it teaches you the pillars of health. So if we go to the very top of that document, it talks about getting adjusted. So making sure that your nervous system is properly communicating. It's teaching you to sleep well, because if you're sleeping, your body is resting, it's healing, it's digesting, it's in that parasympathetic state. Teaches you to move, because we want you to exercise, we want you to play, we want that drainage and that plumbing to keep going. And then we also want you to eat clean. We want you to have healthy foods. We want you to limit the toxins that are in your environment. That second tier is broken into two different, not systems, but two different columns. So we have the everyday boosters. So we've got your whole food vitamins or smoothies, your vitamin C, your vitamin D, omega 3s, your probiotics. And so what they do is they act as, like, I guess, an extra credit. So if you're doing these things, it's just going to help support your overall immune system just by boosting it. Then you've got the immune system builders, which will be the vitamin A, the zinc, the bone broth, the fermented foods, the healthy fruits and vegetables. And so, what these things do is they support the body's ability to keep the immune system healthy and functioning properly. Then we get to the very bottom of this handout, where it starts talking about a couple of different symptoms that you or your family may be experiencing when their immune system is lower. And so the things that you can do, they're going to support that expressive sequence. So it's not going to stop the cough, it's not going to stop the fever. It's going to encourage the body to do what it needs to do by not suppressing the immune system, and it's going to support the body's ability to fight it better. And so, what we want to show you is that the sequence of these pillars are how you boost your overall immune function and how you also boost your nervous system. If you are interested in this slide or you want this handout, we have copies at the office. If you are not a client here at the office and you are interested, you can shoot us a text message. Our phone number is 386 236 8085. If you just type in handout Raising Healthy Kids, we know what to send you and we will get it your way. This next slide is just an overview of what I went over. And basically, what we want to do is encourage you to support your family on living the healthiest. Again, we're going to break it down into those pillars. The first health pillars are that nervous system, sleeping well, eating clean, eating healthy foods, exercising, moving, playing, getting going. That second tier would be boosters and builders to help provide that extra credit, because who doesn't like that extra
Love extra credit.
golden star? And then use the right immune fighters that work within the body. So
fun. It's interesting to go back to, like, what I remember my mom always, if you didn't feel well, first things first, fluids. Second thing, get into bed. And then what do? You rest. So giving yourself fresh, we used to call it vitamin FA, fresh air. Fresh air, sunshine, and fluids always can help you feel better. And I feel like that just helps remind people, like, these are the things that we do to keep ourselves going.
So just to go over a brief testimony. So Braxton is a child that was here in our practice. He came in for chronic ear infections. He was taking numerous antibiotics. He was getting to the point where the medications weren't working anymore, similar to my Bradley's story. And they scheduled him for PE tube surgery. So the reason that Braxton was scheduled for the tubes was he was at risk of having his eardrums ruptured due to the chronic fluid and congestion that had built up in his nasal passages and his ears. So when he came in, we did the insight scans. We wanted to see how his nervous system was functioning. And so when we look at the scan on the left, the one that has the red, we're looking at the neuromuscular connection. And so what we see happening is in his scans is here at C1 to C3, This is the first part that's really stuck. And this is the first part of that drainage system, if you will. This is the eye, or I'm sorry, the ears, the neck, the nasal passages. Then when we go to the scan and we start looking at the lower cervicals, the upper thoracic, down into the shoulders, this would be where the upper airways are connected to the nervous system. This is where we are connected in the lungs. And so what we needed to do is we needed to adjust Braxton. We needed to get that drainage passageway cleared. But what we started noticing was after several adjustments, his ears cleared, so the fluid was able to be released. But then what happened was is he started to develop a sore throat and a cough. And so what we had to do is we had to communicate with the parents that this is normal. This is kind of unclogging that clogged pipe in the plumbing, and it was allowing things to drain and move the way that it should, and allow the body to heal through that healing process. The scans on the right were 2 months later. You see his nervous system is healing. We see all of that stuckness in the nervous system, and that congestion is starting to improve. Neurologically, the body is functioning better. The not the immune system, the body is connected, it's communicating better, and these are all visual changes. But looking at Braxton, he was also feeling better and improving. And his tube surgery was canceled.
Yes, no surgery. And mom was astonished that he started feeling better. And it's never linear. It's never just like they come in sick and they go home well. Like it did take time for it to pass through. But again, talking about that drainage, like once the lines are open, once those areas are no longer subluxated, then the body can do what the body's designed to do. And he got better and he was happier and he was sleeping better. It's amazing.
It's awesome. Well, and a lot of people don't know that the missing link is something as simple as the nervous system. It's complex, but at the same time, like we're not taught that chiropractic is more of a holistic mindset. We're more taught that it's for neck pain, back pain, headaches, things like that.
Car accidents.
So, yeah.
So much more.
Yes. So what are your next steps? So if you're not a patient here in the office, we encourage you to get scanned. Give our office a call. We would love to be able to answer or address any questions that you have. Again, you don't have to be perfect. We don't want you leaving this webinar thinking that you have to trash your current lifestyle, or maybe you do. But making small changes over time are going to make the biggest impacts. Guys, we live by the 80-20% rule, so we're not perfect. If you see me at the grocery store, I might be having a pizza every once in a while. If you see me out with my family, I will probably have Mexican and burgers. It's kind of what we do. But overall, we live a clean, healthy lifestyle. We're limiting some of the things that are going into our body so we can live longer and stronger overall. But if you're not here in Ormond Beach, or if you're looking for resources, reach out to us. Keep asking questions. We're here for you. If you're not local to Ormond Beach and you're interested in getting connected to a practice in your area, send us a text message. Again, it's 386-236-8085. Send us your zip code. Let us know where you're located, and we'll try to find an office that is similar to us. So that way you and your family can get the care that you need. If you are here in the area in Ormond Beach, you can get out your phones. We would love to get you scheduled for a scan and do your new patient experience here at the office. This QR code brings you directly to our schedule. You can request a time and a day that's good for you. If that time or day has been booked, Stephanie will reach out to you and get you scheduled for the next available time. Do you want to go over what that new patient appointment looks like?
Yeah. So when you come in for the new patient appointment, we're going to do a consultation. We're going to do those neurological scans that we talked about. You're going to get an exam and you're going to get any necessary x-rays. We actually break it up into 2 appointments because it's a lot to go in on the first one. So when you come back, we're going to curate all of that information, and Dr. Jamie is going to mark and measure the films, go through those scans, and then she's going to create a customized care plan for you based on what your goals are and her findings are. So this way you're getting healthcare that's tailored to you, that will help you relieve the symptoms that have created the problems in the first place by removing the interference in your nervous system. And then we also have a ton of resources in the office for making those healthy changes, books that you can borrow, information on supplementation, mindset work. Like, you'd be surprised. We are a wealth of information. So,
We have
come check it out.
webinars, workshops,
Yeah.
community dinners, anything, sign up for all that we have. I mean, a lot of these resources are
Mhm.
completely free. We love to educate our community and those who want to listen to improve their overall health and wellness. Had
Yeah.
I not been given this opportunity years ago, not really sure where my family would be. But chiropractic really changed my family's life. I've seen it change and transform people's lives day to day. And so we just want to give you the power to take control of your health and live a healthier lifestyle overall.
Yeah.
So
And it can be so simple.
it can.
So,
Well, if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We would love to help you. We would love to support you, and keep your eyes out for the next workshop that we have. We love getting to teach. So have a wonderful day, guys, and we'll talk soon.
bye.
Bye.